People of God, good evening, good evening, good evening. Listen, I'm going to share this before the sun goes down. I met this wonderful, wonderful earth angel, and I'm just going to quickly share it. The word is keep the faith, put all your faith in God. Everything belongs to Him. Give it all to Him and trust Him. And with faith, that's what's going to always move God. And it's true because without faith, it's impossible to please God. But I just met this earth angel and he shared his testimony with me, right? So he said that there was a tree, and he's an elder, right? He's an elder. He shared many things with me, which I'm not going to share because it's just for me. But there was several years ago, there was a tree that fell on his leg and crushed every bone in his leg. Like it just shattered his leg and his arm. A guy was cutting down a tree and he didn't, he I guess he did the way he had the tree on the machine. It wasn't, it wasn't the, he didn't pick it up properly, or it ended up slipping out of the machine. So anyway, he was just in reach, and the tree fell on him and shattered his leg. He said when he got to the doctor said, came in and he said, sir, he said, I'm gonna have to cut your leg from the knee down. He said, there's nothing I can do. He said, in your arm. He said, I'm gonna have to cut your leg from the knee down in your arm. He said, I've never seen nothing this bad. He said, I've never, seen nothing this severe in my entire career. And the guy, come back, come here, come here. And so the guy says that, Daniel, you didn't hear me calling you? You don't just keep walking like you don't hear me. And so the guy says, okay. He says, my elder, he says, if God says that I don't, I no longer need an arm and a leg, whatever God says. If God says I can't have an arm and a leg, my arm and leg can't be restored, then He gave it, then He'll take it. So the doctor left out of the room, and he said, whatever God said, I was still alive. After some time, the doctor came back in the room and he said, I'm going to try this one thing. He said, what's that? He said, he explained something he was going to put into the leg, and the way he was going to have it sealed up for 3 years. He said, at the end of 3 years, we'll pull everything off. He said, you should see it may be mold and infested or whatever. It may be mold, whatever, gangrene or something like that, he was saying. So he's like, I really don't. He said, I'm going to try something I've never tried before. And he said, I don't think it'll work. He said, but I want to try it. And he said, would you agree? So he said, yeah, sure. So the doctor put I think some rods, a pin or whatever, sealed his leg up. He said he had mobility before the 3 years was up. Like he was able to, he couldn't really like walk normal, but he was able to, move and stuff like that. He said at the end of that 3 years, when they uncovered that leg and that arm and they pulled out those pins out, he said my leg was fully restored. And he said the doctor was so shocked. He said the doctor said, I've never seen nothing like this in my life. He said the doctor said, I can't explain it. He said, I told the doctor, he said, sir, he said, you won't be able to explain it because God did it. This is what you call a miracle. And that thing put the biggest smile on my face. And all I started saying was, way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper. I started singing. And then he told me so many other testimonies in his life. He said, sweetheart, he said, I work because I want to work. I don't have to work. He said, and it's been like this for many years. He said, my daughter always tells people that my daddy ain't got to work. My daddy just be working. He said, I like what I do. He said, and I've also helped. He said, I've helped so many people. And they'll turn around and say, how much I owe you? He said, and I'll tell them, don't worry about it. You don't owe me nothing. He said, he'll tell them, you don't owe me nothing. And then he shared some of his testimony with me. And if I would have judged him by his outer appearance, I would have never took the time to stop and listen to him talk to me. This man is invested in so many different things. And many of the things he was talking about is like I see myself in him, and so many of the ideas and things, and even some of the things I'm working towards, he's already there. And he just started pouring knowledge and pouring knowledge and pouring knowledge into me. But he didn't look like a wealthy man. Then he told me about the business guy he does business with and sometimes for, that's a billionaire. He told me about some of the companies that this guy's own, and some of the companies that he shared with me that this guy owns. I know where they're located. Some of them are located in my city and never knew this guy. He said, yeah, he said, if he would have came out here with me and you would have seen him, he said, you would have never known he was a billionaire. He said, because he would have been dressed just like you. He probably would have had on, he said he probably would have had on something similar to what you and I had on. He had on a ball cap, some dirty jeans, and a long shirt with some dirt on, but he was working, you know, and I got on my coveralls, keeping me warm. He said, but you would have never known. And he shared some knowledge with me that he didn't even have to share. And it was nothing but God. And like I've always told you, people of God, when God want to take you to another level or just put some, he want to get some knowledge to you, he'll put somebody on your path. You ain't got to go paying for the information, looking for the information, you know. Trust God. Give your plans and your dreams and your goals to God and keep the faith. If you're trusting God for healing in your body, I shared my testimony with him about how God healed me from endometriosis when the doctor said there was no cure, you know. So I know God is a way maker. I could, you know, come into agreement with him about how he felt when he saw that miracle, when they removed that stuff from his legs. But I just wanted to share that. I told him, I said, I got a YouTube channel where I encourage a lot of people. He said, well, tell them to keep the faith. He said, tell them to keep the faith. That's what he told me. He said, young lady, he said, I like talking to you. He said, he got my card. He said, got a card? He said, I want to meet up with you and I want to have another conversation with you. I don't know what God's going to put on his spirit, what else God's going to put on his spirit to share me or teach me or whatever. But I'm all ears, baby. And so I just want to share that little bit with you guys. It's getting chilly out here and the sun is going down. I want to hurry up and get in the house because, you know, the freaks come out at night and I don't want to be out too late. But I just wanted to share that right quick to encourage somebody. Whatever it is, keep the faith. We know that God is a way maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. The sky is just so beautiful out here. But anyway, y'all have a blessed night. Entertain angels unawares. It's very good to be kind to strangers. Keep the faith. Don't judge from outer appearance. Had I judged that man from his outer appearance, you know, when I first saw him, I would have been like, he looking all dirty. What he smiling at me for? What he got to tell me for? He started talking my God. He started sharing his testimony. What if I would have been rude and looked at him by how he looked? What if I would have been rude and said, you don't look like you of God's kingdom because your hat dirty and your shirt dirty? But this man is a wealthy man. This man is rich in the spirit and rich in the earth. Some of the stories he shared with me, it just blew my mind. It just blew my mind. You understand? So don't judge from outer appearance, baby. Have a blessed night. Judge righteous judgment. God looks at the heart. Matthew 5:8. It says, blessed are the pure in heart because they what? They shall. They what? They shall do what? See Christ. Have a blessed day. A blessed night.